Have you ever watched a movie sequel or a franchise installment and thought to yourself, what were they thinking? Well, you're not alone. From beloved franchises like Star Wars and the Marvel Cinematic Universe to iconic properties like Indiana Jones and James Bond, even the biggest names in Hollywood have made colossal mistakes that left fans scratching their heads in bewilderment. Welcome to Electrifying Top 10, the channel that brings you the most electrifying and mind-boggling countdowns from the world of entertainment. Join us today as we explore the 10 biggest mistakes made by some of the most beloved film franchises. Number 10, The Hobbit. While Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy was a masterclass in adapting Tolkien's novels to the big screen, the same cannot be said for the Hobbit films. In a baffling move, Jackson stretched the relatively slim source material of The Hobbit into a bloated trilogy, forcing the narrative to be padded with cheesy action sequences and an entirely unnecessary love triangle. Despite capturing some of the book's magic, these films ultimately fell victim to excessive padding and a lack of substantial source material to draw from, leaving fans yearning for the tighter storytelling of the Lord of the Rings saga. Number 9. Marvel Cinematic Universe, Phase 4. The Infinity Saga was a meticulously planned marvel that captivated audiences worldwide. However, Phase 4 of the MCU prioritized quantity over quality, flooding the market with an excess of content on Disney Plus and multiple films yearly. This oversaturation resulted in a noticeable dip in quality, with movies like Eternals, Thor, Love and Thunder, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness ranking among the weakest entries. Fans questioned the franchise's direction, wondering if the studio had lost sight of the carefully crafted narratives that made earlier phases so compelling. Number 8. The Mummy, 2017. Universal Pictures' decision to reboot The Mummy as the foundation for a cinematic universe backfired spectacularly. While the Brendan Fraser-led series from the late 90s and early 2000s captured the perfect balance of adventure, humor, and family-friendly thrills, the 2017 reboot took a drastically different approach. Instead of embracing the charm of its predecessors, this reimagining was a needlessly dark, dull, and action-focused slog that failed to resonate with audiences. Clearly, Universal learned the hard way that not every franchise needs to be forced into a cinematic universe, and sometimes it's best to let a beloved property rest in peace. Number 7. James Bond, Daniel Craig era. For decades, James Bond thrived with standalone action movies every few years. However, during Daniel Craig's era, the films tried forming a larger narrative by introducing Blofeld as the mastermind behind all villainous plots. This misguided attempt to mimic the MCU's interconnected storytelling clashed with Bond's tradition of self-contained adventures. The franchise lost sight of what made it enjoyable by following trends rather than sticking to its formula. Number 6. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. After a nearly two-decade hiatus, the Indiana Jones franchise attempted to modernize with the 2008 film Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. However, this effort to bring the beloved archaeologist into the 21st century backfired in spectacular fashion. The heavy reliance on underdeveloped CGI and the confusing decision to incorporate extraterrestrial elements into the narrative left fans feeling like they had encountered an archaeological misfire of epic proportions. While the film boasted some thrilling action sequences, the overall experience was marred by jarring tonal shifts and a betrayal of the grounded, adventure-filled spirit that made the original trilogy so captivating. Number 5. Fantastic Beasts. Given the Harry Potter film's success, expectations were high for the Fantastic Beasts prequel saga. However, the franchise struggled with constantly recasting the main villain Grindelwald, with Colin Farrell, Johnny Depp, and Mads Mikkelsen portraying him in different films. This revolving door of actors made maintaining a consistent tone and character development challenging, leaving audiences disconnected from the central conflict and detracting from narrative cohesion. Number 4. Spider-Man 3. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 were groundbreaking superhero films that set the standard for the genre in the early 2000s. However, the third installment stumbled badly by trying to cram too many villains into a single movie. With Venom, Sandman, and New Goblin all vying for screen time, The film felt overstuffed and struggled to give each antagonist the proper attention they deserved. This lack of focus detracted from the quality of each villain's storyline, ultimately leading to the franchise's downfall and paving the way for the eventually rebooted Spider-Man series, starring Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. Number 3. DC Extended Universe. Like many franchises in the 2010s, the DCEU rushed to catch up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, resulting in a flawed approach. Instead of patiently developing characters and building towards a team-up, the DCEU rushed into Justice League too quickly without establishing individual heroes' motivations. This disjointed film failed to resonate with audiences, delivering a devastating blow to the DCEU's identity. The lack of leadership and long-term planning led the franchise down a path of diminishing returns, prompting a complete reboot under James Gunn's guidance. Number 2. X-Men. The X-Men movies attempted to copy the MCU's shared universe but lacked cohesive planning. The time travel element in Days of Future Past aimed to connect the original and prequel casts but led to timeline contradictions. Even the beloved Dark Phoenix saga, teased since early films, was adapted twice but failed to satisfy fans or do justice to the source material in The Last Stand and Dark Phoenix. Number 1. Star Wars Sequel Trilogy. While George Lucas's prequel trilogy had issues, it presented a planned narrative that cohesively fit with the original trilogy. The sequel trilogy, however, lacked planning and direction. The Force Awakens borrowed heavily from A New Hope while posing unanswered questions. The Last Jedi subverted expectations with commentary on fan service, receiving polarized reactions. The Rise of Skywalker backtracked, resulting in a disjointed, contradictory mess that left fans unsatisfied. The lack of a cohesive vision squandered the potential of continuing the Skywalker saga, proving to be the trilogy's undoing. There you have it, the 10 biggest mistakes made by some of the most beloved film franchises, dissected and analyzed for your viewing pleasure. From rushed storylines to mishandled characters, these blunders serve as cautionary tales for future filmmakers, reminding them of the importance of careful planning, consistency, and respect for the source material. Did we miss any egregious franchise flops? What other cinematic mistakes would you add to the list? Comment your thoughts below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all our latest contents.